So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Gabriel Sestair. I'm the Business Prosperity and Community Project Specialist here at BDCC. I'm joined with RT Brown, who many of you probably know. He's the director of our business assistance team here. And then Iyad Salha to my left, I suppose, as the video is framed. He is our new business technical assistance provider. And we really just wanted to host a quick meeting on the State of Vermont Agency of Commerce and Community Development's Economic Recovery Bridge Grant Program. So BDCC is not a counselor for this program, yet it is pretty undersubscribed right now for the state. So we wanted to make sure that we got this information out to Wyndham Region businesses to make sure that people who may be eligible have the opportunity to apply for it. So this will be brief. Like I said, we're just going to go over some pretty high level pieces of information about the program, give you some opportunity to ask a few questions if you have any, and then I'll be following up with you all with a list of resources to help you go forward in the process. And again, for anybody who joined a little bit late, you arrived to the meeting with your microphone muted. You're welcome to turn on your video if you would like, but we will unmute you during the question and answer session if you do have a question. So I will share the presentation here. Yeah, can you see it okay? Is it up here? All right, so as I said, this is just a high-level overview of the state ACCD's Economic Recovery Bridge Grant Program. And just a little bit of background. So as I said, we're just trying to increase awareness that there is still quite a bit of grant funding available to eligible applicants in the state right now. There was a period of time when it was being offered to business owners who had not yet received any kind of COVID-related support, but it is now open to people who have previously received support in either the Restart Vermont program, which I may have worked with you on, or PPP or EIDL, any of those kinds of programs. And just a little bit of information you can see about the legislative background of the program. And most importantly, what we want to go over is the basic eligibility criteria for this program. So the business must be based in Vermont, visibly suffered a tax loss in 2020, so that loss that's reflected in your 2020 tax return. Open at the time of application or appropriately documents a plan to reopen. And the loss in the 2020 return should be greater than the loss in your 2019 tax return. And then finally, as is usually the case, in good standing with the Vermont Secretary of State, Department of Labor, and Department of Taxes. So just a few required documents for you to take note of. Monthly profit and loss statements from March of 2020 through April 2021. State and federal tax returns for 2019 and 2020. A DUNS number, an employee identification number, federal employee identification number or social security number, and a NAICS number. If you're unfamiliar, a NAICS number is your industry classification number. And that is one of the things that we can probably help you figure out how to register for quickly if you're unfamiliar with that process, in particular the DUNS number. Attachments of 1 month of invoices and fixed monthly expenses, and then information about any prior assistance programs that you information about prior programs that you received assistance from. So those may be any of the COVID relief related programs that I mentioned earlier. And finally, the basics of the grant formula. So this is a grant. This is not a loan. And the formula that the State Agency of Commerce and Community Development created is 3 times the sum of fixed monthly expenses for the period that you will be asked to submit profit and loss statements for. That again is March 2020 to April 2021, and then not exceeding a upper value of $150,000. So I'll the ACCD website, which I'll share as a follow-up to this meeting, has a nice how to apply video. It's about 8 minutes, so I would like to show that for you all now.
Welcome to the Vermont ACCD.
Oh, my apologies.
Welcome to the end. You'll need to refer to these and other copies in order to submit a complete application. When you are filling out your application, you must click the next button.
All right, folks, so there seems to be maybe some sound issues with the video. So it's a short video. I'll make sure that everybody who's in the meeting right now gets the link to watch it on your own. RT wisely anticipated that watching a YouTube video on a presentation may not work that well, but I'll make sure that we follow up with the video for you all to watch on your own.
And now they can hear, so if you can play. Yeah, just in case anyone has a question about the presentation.
If you do not click next, the page will not save and deal with your information. Enter your business's FEIN number. If you are sole proprietor, enter your social security number. If your business exists in the system already, your information will be displayed automatically. If any of the information displayed on your screen needs to be updated, then click on I need to update my business information. The text box will appear. Enter any changes to the information displayed, and please be as specific as possible. If your business is not in the system already, click My Organization is not shown. This will show you where to enter your business information. Please use the business name entered on your federal tax return. And of course, it's critical that the 2 business names match exactly. Now, the second half of the first step asks about your tax information from your W-9. Use your income tax return to fill out the information for this section. You must enter the data for all questions that have a red asterisk in order to continue with the application. Please be aware that we will use the address in this section to mail an award if one is due. And when you complete the first step, click Next to continue. Now, in terms of contact information, in step 2, you were able to add additional context as a secondary source for your application. Any context you add will have access to the status of any application and its information. If you only want your current primary contact information as the only contact, then click Continue to the next step. If you would like to add another contact, click here on Add Contact. Then fill out the information by entering all the fields marked with a red asterisk. Then click Save. Once you have added your contacts, click Next to save and continue. Step 3 is the eligibility information page. Begin by reading the section labeled Before You Begin, as you will find information about what you need to do to complete your application. Next, you will answer 4 questions that will determine your eligibility. As you're filling out the answers to the questions, you may find an error message that appears saying, unfortunately, based on your answers to eligibility questions, your business does not currently qualify for a Vermont Economic Recovery Award. To search further resources, please refer to ACCD.vermont.gov. That means, of course, your organization does not qualify for the award. If you try to submit the application, it will come back as denied. So, refer to ACCD.vermont.gov to search for other resources. Otherwise, on the second half of the page, enter your 2019 and 2020 income and revenue figures. Once you complete this step, click Next to save and continue. And now, the 4th step is benefit information. Here, you will declare if you have received any prior benefits from the programs listed in this section. Click on the checkbox under the assistance program you received, and then state whether you have applied for but not received, or you have received. Then provide the amount in the award field. If you have not applied or have an application pending for a program listed, leave these questions blank. The last question on the step is a yes or no question. Read the question and answer yes or no. Then click Next, and you will save and continue. Now for the profit loss information. This section asks you for your profit and loss information. Enter your net income for the month and year indicated in the table. Then you will enter your fixed expenses. These figures should all be business expenses from a single month. And if your business does not have an expense for a category, enter $0. If you are a sole proprietor that files a Schedule C and uses your home for business purposes, you will enter the percent from line 7 of your federal tax form 8829. Once you are done, click Next to save and continue. Now for document upload, in step 6, you will upload the required documents asked for on this page. In order to upload a document, simply click the Upload Files button. From there, select the correct file. The file name will display on this section. If you did not upload the correct file, click the trash can icon to reset the Upload File button. Once you are done uploading the files, simply click Next to save and continue on. You are now able to review the information you have provided in your application. If you need to edit information, use the back button at the bottom of the page to go back to the section and make any necessary changes. Then, once you have reviewed and confirmed everything is correct, click Next to continue. Step 8 is where you certify that your information is complete and accurate. In this step, read each certification carefully and click the checkbox stating that you understand and agree. All certifications are required fields and must be checked in order to complete the application. Enter your name in the Attested By text box and click Next to save and continue. Step number 9 asks you for your demographic information. This portion is optional and is strictly for reporting purposes only. It is not part of the award eligibility process. Once you are done, click the Submit button to finish. Now, step 10 states that your application has been received. The message will also go to the email connected to your application. Once you have read the message, click Finish to return to your dashboard. And here on your dashboard, you will see your information for your application and its current status. Once your application is under review, you may get emails from ACCD grant reviewers requesting additional information, or for making a determination on your application. In some cases, these emails may end up in your spam folder, so please be sure to check that folder frequently. And that's it. This has been a step-by-step overview video on how to apply for the ACCD.
All right, folks, apologies for any audio issues that you may have experienced. Like I said, I'll share that video with everyone who attended the meeting and who anticipated attending the meeting but could not join today. So we'll transition into a brief, maybe no more than 5 to 10 minutes for questions. I will also be sharing that phone number in a follow-up for the dedicated helpline that ACCD created for this program. From what I understand, that's a pretty useful resource that they've created for this program. So they are likely going to be your best bet for any clarification for specifics to this program. But for, like I said, about 5 to 10 minutes, we're happy to answer questions to the best of our ability. So yeah, do you see any?
We have only received one question about how to determine what is tax loss. And put it down in the chat. It is when you file your tax return for your business for 2020, if the net income or net loss shown there, actually it should be net loss, then you'll be eligible to apply for this grant. And we apologize again for the audio. We will share the link for the video, and I'll share it in the chat section as well.
Does anybody, if anybody knows how to use the raise hand function in the chat, or excuse me, in the participants window, we can take a look at that and then unmute for a question. All right, I'm not seeing any. Like I said, this is a basic high-level view of this program from the Vermont ACCD. I'll be sending out a follow-up with some resources, the helpline that the ACCD has, and please let us know if you experience any issues, and we'll be sure to push those up to the appropriate folks to try and resolve them for you. All right, thank you everyone. Take care.